All right, I'm going to give a quick breakdown on the differences between the Wade and the Wist. So the Wade and the Wist, the Wade looks like this, the Wist looks like this. These are two tests that we use within the practicum year for your practicum student, as well as in our small groups here at Redwood and hopefully in the schools. So the Wist is a normed reference phonemic awareness test. So it's word identification and spelling. It does not give a total reading score. It is just measures the student's phonemic awareness by looking at their decoding of words in isolation, their encoding of words in isolation, their ability to read nonsense words, and their sound symbol knowledge, identifying which sounds go with which letters. And this test we administer at the beginning of whenever a new student, we start with a new student, we're going to administer this test because this gives us a percentile of where they stand in relation to their peers with their phonemic awareness. So this is a great indicator of kids that need something like Wilson. The Wade, with the Wist, you'd never want to give it more than once a year. So we usually do like an annual review. We'll administer it when a student starts with us, and then a year later we'll give it again to measure growth. You're not going to see a lot of growth in less than a year show up on the Wist, so I don't recommend taking the time to do it more than once a year. The Wade is more what we use for progress monitoring. So this test I do give to students who I'm starting with if they've received any other like Orton-Gillingham based intervention, SLANT or Barton or Wilson previously, or Orton-Gillingham curriculum itself. So that will show me exactly if they've had other Orton-Gillingham based intervention, where do they fall in the Wilson program. So for some kiddos, we might jump in not at 1.3 if they've received significant intervention elsewhere. That's when I would use the Wade. The other time that we use the Wade is after we've worked with students for a year utilizing the Wilson reading system with Fidelity, we'll administer the Wade to measure their mastery of what's been instructed. And so then with kids that you work with for multiple years, I administer this once a year as well with the Wist, because the Wade is going to show me percentiles of how much they've mastered of what I've instructed. So the Wade percentiles, when you've worked with a kiddo, these should be like around the 90th percentile for accuracy for decoding, and at least close to the 80th percentile for accuracy for encoding. So if you're not seeing that on sub-steps you've instructed, that shows you may want to go back and redo some of those sub-steps. The Wist percentiles might stay low for a while, because let's say you start with a kiddo and they're in the 5th percentile. Even after working for a year with Wilson, they might still be in the 15th or 20th percentile. That's still huge growth for them. And over time, we hope to see those percentiles get closer to that, at least to the average range, like within the 50th percentile. So that's a breakdown of the two tests. And you can find pretty good instructions of how to administer both of these tests. The Wist manual is great. It's a little bit long, but it has lots of great information on how to administer it. And then the Wade, you can find detailed instructions in the Wilson manual.